Welcome back. The president of the Vendors Association, Peter Ras Iper Isaac, is anticipating better cooperation from the new SLP administration. Isaac says that vendors have had a great relationship with the administration and it has always been beneficial to them. He hopes that this time around will be no different.
Over the last few years, President of the Vendors Association, Peter Isaac, has been outspoken on the myriad of issues faced by vendors. While the advent of COVID brought about diverse challenges, Isaac says that he did not appreciate how vendors were treated under the previous UWP administration. Isaac, however, is expressing optimism about the new SLP administration. He anticipates better consultation and trusts that the new Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierre, will cater to vendors since they have always had a strong relationship.
We expect better cooperation in terms of, to work with us, and you think that the last administration, they were really heavy-handed in the way that they were dealing with things pertaining to vendors. And they seems to sometimes dish out a whole heap of disrespect, and so on. So we are saying now that we believe that especially with the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, he have worked with us before. In fact, the turnstile at the Vendors Arcade, which is bordering between Slasper, the Northern Wharf with Slasper and the Vendors Arcade, was actually purchased by him or purchased by his administration at the time when he was Minister for Tourism. So I think he means well, and I think he's going to do well in terms of working with us.
Isaac says that he is hopeful that the issues the Vendors Association have highlighted will be remedied, and he has the utmost confidence in the new administration.
I think the present Minister of Tourism have highlighted a number of times some of the situations facing us. He have mentioned my name several times in Parliament as to ask IPA, when the government is saying everything is nice, when Mr. Fede was saying things were rosy, he was saying, go and ask IPA, and I'm sure you're going to get a different result. So I'm hoping that some of the issues that, we have been talking about in the media and so on will be dealt with, and I'm hoping that it will be dealt with right. And I think in my honest self that in terms of working with vendors, we have had a better work relationship with this administration than any other.
The Vendors Association has consistently lamented issues that affect them. Hopefully with this new administration, vendors can breathe a sigh of relief. For the Hot 7 Nightly News, I am Kareem Nelson.
Over the weekend, the island experienced the effects of one of 3 tropical waves that are being monitored by the St. Lucia Met Services. The director of the Met Services explained that the other 2 waves do not look like they pose a significant threat to the island, but a close watch is being kept.
As the Atlantic hurricane season continues to progress, the Caribbean region has its eyes fixed on the systems coming off of Africa. Last weekend, 3 systems were being watched for additional developments, but today, Monday, the director of Met Services, Andre Joye, says that the closer of the systems is expected to pass closer to the Lesser Antilles. But first, he gave a synopsis of the system that was expected to affect St. Lucia from Saturday into Sunday.
It did rain in the south. We had 28.3 millimeters recorded. So the wave did produce some rainfall. It's about more than an inch of rainfall. We normally have thresholds, so we determine the amount where we could issue alerts or warnings based on the inches or equivalent millimeters, which is 25 millimeters. So 2 inches would be significant rainfall. 1 inch is moderate. So if the rain falls all at once, like in a short space of time, then you would definitely get some flooding. But if it's prolonged over a 6-hour period, then you wouldn't get as much damage from the rainfall.
The first of the 2 other systems is forecast to reach portions of the Lesser Antilles by late tonight. While environmental conditions are expected to be conducive for additional development, Joye says this system will pass to the north of St. Lucia.
Right now there are 2 areas of interest in the Atlantic. One is pretty close to us. It's about 245 miles east of us. But it's expected to move west-northwestward. So it's actually forecasted to pass north of the islands and most likely affect Leeward Islands. But we would still go for some weather because we're pretty close to the center.
The other low-pressure system is located several hundred miles east of the Les Antilles and is moving westward near 10 miles per hour or 17 kilometers per hour. Development of this system is becoming less likely during the next few days. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
Students of members of the St. Lucia Teachers Union and the St. Lucia Teachers Credit Union Cooperative are being rewarded for their hard work at this year's Common Entrance examinations. Their annual scholarship and bursary award program took place recently.
The Education Assistance Scheme, as it is called at the St. Lucia Teachers Credit Cooperative, has earned a place on the program of activities yearly. The scheme provides a bursary for first-time entrance to secondary school to help cover expenses. 70 students received $400 each as part of the program. Peter Luisi is the president of the St. Lucia Teachers Credit Cooperative.
We at SLTCC believes in promoting and assisting families. Therefore, we are deeply convinced that this financial support will go a long way in assisting you, especially in this challenging COVID environment. We at SLTCC continue to support and build on the credit union's motto, which says, not for profit, not for charity, but for service. Therefore, we'll continue to provide valued products and services to all our members. Students, today we are making a difference in your lives. We are taking the small but significant step to invest in your academic future.
The president of the St. Lucia Teachers Union, Don Howell, says it's an opportunity to work collaboratively for the advancement of education.
This is a proud moment for us because the SLTU continues to contribute to the advancement of our members and that making a significant contribution to the education system. Ladies and gentlemen, the SLTU has been doing this for a number of years. And I just want to go back just 10 years. Just 10 years. And within the last 10 years, the SLTU would have contributed in excess of $160,000 towards the advancement of education in St. Lucia.
The recipients were grateful for the investments made in their education.
Thank you for taking the initiative to give back to teachers with children who wrote the Common Entrance exam. To all the educators who continue to make monthly contributions to the SLTU, we are grateful. Without your monetary contributions, there would be no bursaries to assist in one way or another with meeting expenses as we begin our secondary school journey.
Thank you, merci, gracias. The contributions that you have blessed us with today will be put to good use in propelling us into our new chapter. May the operations of your organizations continue to bear good fruit. May these fruits be plentiful so that you are able to share with your membership.
The awards giving ceremony took place last Thursday. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
A government delegation from Venezuela paid a courtesy visit to St. Lucia's Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierre. Prime Minister Pierre, in thanking the delegation, affirmed that his administration will work towards reinstating and strengthening the traditional friendly relationship between St. Lucia and Venezuela. The Prime Minister further confirmed that his government's position on Venezuela will be consistent with the official position of CARICOM of non-interference in the internal affairs of the sovereign state. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. The latest weather forecast is coming up after the break.